My name's Hannah Kay. I work at the National Maritime Museum in London, and I'm part of a team of curators working on a new exhibition called Titanic Remembered. This exhibition is really different because for the first time the museum's using a new archive which contains objects and letters from survivors of Titanic, things people were wearing with them on the night Titanic sank. It's an amazing collection that has never been on display before. This is a memorial button in memory of Isidor Straus. He was an immensely successful American businessman. He died with his wife Ida in the Titanic disaster, and these buttons were worn as a mark of respect at his memorial service. It goes really to show that the range of passengers that were on board Titanic, from millionaires, celebrities and businessmen, right through to poor third-class passengers who were emigrating to find work in America. American author Walter Lord wrote to Titanic survivors in 1955 asking them to share their memories with him so he could write his book A Night to Remember. Edith Rosenbaum was an American passenger returning to New York on Titanic. She was a journalist for a fashion magazine called Women's Wear Daily. She was travelling on Titanic first class to report on the latest fashions of the day. She was wearing these beautiful embroidered slippers when she stepped from the deck of Titanic onto the lifeboat. This musical toy pig was one of Edith's prized possessions. She thought it was a lucky charm. When she was waiting to board one of the Titanic lifeboats, she actually went back to her cabin for this toy pig. She took it with her into the lifeboat and used it to entertain the children while they awaited rescue. Edith sent this telegram from the Carpathia. She wanted to notify her mother that she was safe and had been rescued. She sent the telegram to the offices of her magazine Women's Wear Daily, which was on East 21st Street. Over the last 100 years, hundreds and hundreds of items of memorabilia, Titanic-themed souvenirs have been produced. In this case, we have a board game, a greetings card, even a bar of soap and a whiskey bottle. This cape is one of the star objects in our exhibition Titanic Remembered. It's been specially conserved by a team of museum specialists. It was worn by a second-class passenger called Elizabeth Mellinger. She wore it in lifeboat 12, and while she was in the lifeboat she took it off and used it to help revive a member of the crew who was dragged from the icy water into the lifeboat. Mr. Ogden had a camera which was actually very unusual for that time in 1912, and he stood on deck and photographed his view from the Carpathia of the Titanic survivors in the ice field. This small metal whistle was given by a member of the crew to one of the Titanic survivors. He instructed her to blow it to attract attention when she was in lifeboat 12. The item next to it is a bronze Carpathia medal. A very well-known Titanic survivor, an American lady called Molly Brown, had these medals struck after the Titanic disaster. They were made in bronze, silver and gold, and they were presented to the crew of the Carpathia to thank them really for helping Titanic and for ensuring that the survivors were rescued. This is a handkerchief that again was used by someone in one of the Titanic lifeboats. A passenger in lifeboat 5 waved this as Carpathia approached to try and attract attention and to get help. This is a ticket for Titanic. A man called Arthur Lawrence bought this ticket. It was a first-class ticket, but 2 days before Titanic was due to set sail, he changed his mind. He went to the White Star Line offices and transferred his passage to sail on the Adriatic. So he had a very lucky escape, and he kept this ticket as a memento and as a good luck charm. This watch belonged to a passenger who didn't survive the Titanic disaster. It was recovered from the body of a passenger called Robert Norman, who died in the Titanic disaster. He, we think, had it with him when he entered the water. The watch, if you look carefully, shows the time 3:07. Now, we think he hadn't reset his watch from the previous day's local time, because we know Titanic finally sank at 2:20 a.m. So this watch should actually read 2:07 a.m., which we believe was the time that Robert Norman would have gone into the water.